HOA told my little boy his sparklers were too dangerous, but minutes later I caught the HOA president's grandkids doing the exact same thing. I hit record, because this time, their hypocrisy was about to burn brighter than the fireworks. The night crackled with laughter, grill smoke, and the tiny hiss of sparklers dancing in my son's hands like captured stars refusing to die. Karen Hartwell appeared, visor tight, clipboard clutched, marching across my yard as if she commanded armies, barking orders at children like they were enemy troops. "Put those down," she snapped, her voice sharp as glass. "Too dangerous." Section 12. Violations carry fines. Before we continue, please drop a like and comment below with your country and what time it is right now where you're watching. Whether it's sunrise in Australia, midnight in New York, afternoon in Canada, or evening in France, I want to know. Don't just sit back, tell me where in the world you are. Now, let's dive into the story. She spoke as though God himself wrote bylaws. My son Eldon's smile wilted. The sparklers fizzled in his trembling hands. His eyes darted to me, searching for strength I suddenly struggled to give. I tried reason. We've got water buckets, soaked grass, wide open space. My words seemed useless, drifting like smoke against her polished shield of authority. Karen leaned forward. Rules are rules. No exceptions. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains, hungry for spectacle. I felt them counting my breaths like coins tossed into a jar. Eldon dropped the sparklers, metal sticks clattering against the sidewalk like surrender. My chest burned, shame wrapping itself around me like chains. Karen smiled satisfied. I led Eldon to the porch, his lip trembling, whispering, "Did we do something wrong?" My reply stuck heavy, "We did careful." My voice shook. Then I heard laughter, light, carefree, floating from hydrangeas. I turned my head, caught sight of sparks painting golden circles in the dark where they shouldn't have been. President Thatcher's grandchildren, Piper and Olin, twirling sparklers freely under his grin. I raised my phone, thumb hovering over record, whispering to myself, "Now let's see hypocrisy burn." Back when I was 25, fresh-faced, broke, and stubborn, I bought our Briar Hollow house. It was supposed to be a sanctuary, not a sentence. The neighborhood looked like a picture book, manicured lawns, white fences, kids' laughter bouncing off driveways. But beneath that polish, shadows of rules waited to strangle joy. Mel, my older sister, lived 3 blocks away. She warned, "This place smiles with teeth, not hearts. Watch yourself." I brushed it off. I wanted belonging. The HOA brochures promised community standards and protection of property values. Truthfully, it felt more like shackles disguised as shiny invitations, disguised as neighborhood friendliness. President Thatcher was charming, whiskey glass in hand, porch swing creaking like background music. He claimed, "Fairness is hard to define." I didn't yet understand. Karen, though, never smiled. She wielded her clipboard like a sword. To her, bylaws weren't guidelines, they were scripture. And she was the self-appointed priest. I paid dues, mowed lawns, trimmed hedges, coached Little League. I thought compliance earned peace. I thought kindness would shield us from neighbors' endless judgments. But rules multiplied, creeping like weeds through cracks, one notice after another. First about trash bins, then lawn heights, then even mailbox paint. It never stopped. Every Labor Day, families gathered with folding chairs, burgers, and sparklers. It should have been simple joy, tradition. Instead, it grew into a battlefield we didn't choose. And every year, I noticed the same pattern. Ordinary neighbors followed rules like prisoners, while the board bent them whenever convenience whispered permission. It began small. A folded notice tucked in my mailbox, words typed cold, signed with Karen's impatient scrawl, sidewalk chalk prohibited. Immediate removal required. Eldon had been 3 years old, still wobbling crayons like paintbrushes, drawing circles that leaned like tired suns. His rainbow stretched harmlessly across our driveway. But Karen treated his artwork like graffiti. She even snapped photographs, attached copies to the notice as though documenting evidence of crimes against civilization. My hands shook. The first I left. Then reality pressed heavy. I scrubbed chalk rainbows until skin reddened. The colors bled down the driveway, washing innocence straight into gutters. Mel sighed when I told her, "Pick your battles, little brother." She meant well, but her words tasted bitter. "Which battles do you surrender first?" That night, Eldon asked, "Where did my rainbow go?" I lied. "It washed away." His disappointed eyes etched themselves deep inside me like permanent ink. The HOA smiled when I mailed fines. They called it keeping order. I called it small thefts of joy. One coin at a time. Neighbors whispered, too afraid to protest. Fear wrapped this cul-de-sac tighter than hedges trimmed to regulation height. Karen stood tallest among them, enjoying her kingdom. I promised myself, never again would I let them steal something so small, so harmless, so meaningful. But promises can weaken when money grows thin. Still, every rule twisted deeper into my bones, preparing the soil for that explosive Labor Day showdown decades later, the day hypocrisy burned brighter than fireworks. Labor Day was supposed to be ours. Paper plates stacked, potato salad sweating, kids pedaling scooters until fireflies replaced streetlights. Tradition glued us together. But by then, money pressed hard against my ribs. Car repairs, medical bills, rising dues, it all piled until breathing felt like carrying stone uphill. I stretched dollars fixing neighbors' plumbing, mowing lawns, trading labor for favors. But nothing compared to Eldon's wish, sparklers. Like last year, Dad? His eyes begged softly. $10 bought 2 packs. Small cost, big meaning. The kind of tradition worth protecting even when everything else frayed thin. I tucked them carefully. Mal arrived balancing potato salad, whispering, "You know Karen will be watching." Her smirk carried both warning and admiration. She knew I lived for defiance. Neighbors unfolded chairs around our cul-de-sac. Folding tables sagged with burgers, chips, pies. The air smelled of charcoal, sunscreen, and anticipation buzzing under every heartbeat. Eldon tugged my shirt. "Now." His sparklers rattled like secret promises. I nodded, pride swelling despite Karen's watchful shadow crawling across the lawn. He struck a spark, flame erupted, tiny sun dancing in his hand. His face glowed, innocence blazing. For a heartbeat, life felt whole again. Then Karen's voice sliced the air. "Stop this immediately." She marched forward, eyes sharp, clipboard clutched like it held God's judgment, shattering Eldon's fragile joy into pieces. Neighbors leaned forward, hungry for spectacle. I inhaled, steadying rage. Somewhere deep, something whispered, tonight would not end like every year before. Tonight, something different waited. Karen planted herself between me and my boy, blocking his glow like storm clouds swallowing sunlight. Section 12. Hazardous behavior. Noncompliance carries immediate consequences. Eldon's fingers shook, sparks dimming. He looked to me whispering, "Did I do wrong?" My chest twisted. A child shouldn't bear shame disguised as rules. I tried calm. "Karen, we're safe. Water buckets, damp grass, open yard." My words fluttered uselessly. She wasn't here to listen, she was here to dominate. Her lips curled. "Rules aren't suggestions." Every syllable dripped with satisfaction, as though crushing joy filled her like champagne at some cruel celebration. I guided Eldon to the porch, his sparkler fizzled gray, face pale. "Why me?" he whispered. I swallowed hard, lying, "Sometimes, people forget fairness." Karen smirked. "Glad we understand." She scribbled something on her clipboard, each stroke like a nail hammered into the coffin of my dignity. I stared at her retreating back, fists clenched. Behind the porch rail, Miles' eyes blazed. She mouthed silently, "Fight." A storm churned inside me, restless. Then laughter floated over hedges. My eyes snapped toward giggles, sudden light flashing where darkness should have been. Sparks danced, defying every lecture Karen preached moments earlier. President Thatcher's grandchildren twirled sparklers, free and laughing. And there, in plain sight, hypocrisy revealed itself like fireworks splitting open the night sky for everyone watching. I froze, watching Piper and Olin spin golden circles across Thatcher's lawn. Their giggles echoed like bells, unchecked, unpunished, celebrated beneath the HOA president's approving gaze. My blood boiled. Eldon sat defeated on the porch steps, face crumpled. How could I explain justice when hypocrisy strutted freely across trimmed grass? Karen hadn't moved, clipboard still tucked beneath her arm, but her eyes avoided Thatchery's yard deliberately. Selective blindness, proof that power bends for those holding reins. I reached for my pocket, pulled my phone. A flicker of defiance ran through me. One video could shatter Karen's authority, dismantle Thatchery's smug empire. The camera lens caught sparks painting arcs, children's laughter, the president himself clapping proudly. Irony burned hotter than flame. My pulse hammered, finger hovering over record. Ma leaned in, whispering, "Do it." Her eyes gleamed. She'd waited years to watch me stop bowing, to finally push back. My chest tightened. I imagined fallout, fines, retaliation, whispers turning sharper. But what was left to lose? They'd already stolen rainbows, stolen dignity, stolen childhood moments from Eldon. I hit record. Every spark frozen in digital eternity, every giggle evidence. My hands trembled, but finally, control returned to me. Sweet, shaky control. Karen noticed, lips pursing tight. She took one stiff step forward, uncertain. For once, her certainty faltered, and that was enough to ignite something new. The question burned inside me, would this video spark change, or would it set my family ablaze under their wrath? Either way, the fire had started. I marched across the lawn, phone raised, eyes locked on Karen. Funny how danger disappears when it's the president's grandchildren lighting the night, isn't it? Her face stiffened, lips pressed like closing gates. Neighbors leaned closer, whispers rippling like wind. They smelled blood, sensed change, hungered for spectacle greater than fireworks. Karen sputtered. "This is different." She knew it wasn't. Authority wavered when truth glared under spotlights. Her visor no longer shielded her, hypocrisy cut too deep. Thatchery stepped forward, whiskey glass in hand, lazy grin dripping privilege. "They're supervised," he said smoothly, voice dripping with false calm. "It's harmless when managed responsibly." I snapped back. "My son was supervised. We had water, safety. Yet you humiliated him. Why do rules bend for your blood?" Silence followed. Mael clapped once, sharp. Others followed, hesitant at first, then stronger. Claps, whispers, nods. Karen's authority cracked with each sound. Fear lifted like smoke dispersing. Karen hissed, "You're making a mistake." Her eyes darted, desperate for Thatchery's support. But he looked away, retreating behind his smirk, unwilling to dirty his hands. I raised the phone higher. "This video leaves tonight if anyone thinks of fines. Hypocrisy spreads faster than fire online. Your rules will crumble." Karen's hands trembled, clipboard shaking. She knew the war had shifted. Tonight wasn't about sparklers anymore. It was about power finally meeting resistance head-on. And in that silence, with my neighbor's eyes upon me, I realized the game had changed forever. But the retaliation? That storm was still coming. The morning after, an envelope waited in my mailbox. Violation, excessive noise, improper gatherings, unsafe environment. Fine, $500. Karen's handwriting carved across the page. I laughed bitterly. Predictable. Retaliation always came dressed in paper and fines. Eldon read over my shoulder, eyes wide. "Are we in trouble again, Dad?" I knelt, holding his shoulders. "No, son. We're in truth. Trouble belongs to them now." My voice steadied, surprising even me. He nodded, believing. Mal arrived midday, brandishing coffee and fury. "Post the video." Her certainty cut like steel. "Stop waiting. They strike fast, strike faster." She always believed in offense. But fear clawed inside me. Would posting cost us everything? Jobs? Peace? Neighbors' fragile friendships? Retaliation from people who held the reins tightly? Still, the memory of Eldon dropping sparklers, shame in his eyes, steeled me. If I surrendered now, what lesson would I teach him? I uploaded. Title: Hypocrisy, sparklers for some, fines for others. The clip lit screens, comments flooding within hours, strangers furious, sympathetic, demanding fairness. By evening, my phone buzzed nonstop. News outlets messaged, neighbors whispered, strangers emailed. The cul-de-sac had exploded beyond its borders. The internet held the torch now. Karen banged on my door, face red, voice quaking. "Take it down. You've humiliated us." Her visor was gone. Her power, slipping faster than she realized. I looked her straight in the eyes, voice calm, steady. "No. You humiliated yourselves. I just let the world watch." Her silence felt like victory. The HOA scrambled. Emergency meetings, panicked emails, threats disguised as formal language. But every letter leaked online, every contradiction exposed like cracks in stained glass windows. Neighbors once silent grew bolder. They asked questions, demanded receipts, refused fines. Fear had lost its grip, replaced by anger simmering just below politeness. Thackeray tried charm. He visited with pie, rehearsed excuses dripping sweet. All communities need order. But his smile cracked under my steady refusal. No pie tasted fair. Karen vanished for days, visor unseen. When she returned, whispers followed, rumors of resignations, votes, lawsuits. Her clipboard no longer carried weight, just paper and shame. Eldon asked, "Are we safe now?" His voice trembled. I hugged him hard. "Safer than yesterday. Because truth doesn't burn. It shines." He smiled carefully. Mel threw her arm around me. "Took you long enough," she teased. But her pride radiated. We weren't just family, we'd become resistance. The neighborhood noticed. Local reporters filmed interviews near our cul-de-sac. Microphones captured truth Karen tried bearing. Every lie she told unraveled beneath spotlights she couldn't control anymore. The HOA board fractured, members quitting, rules questioned. For the first time, neighbors dreamed of community free from fear's suffocating grip. A new possibility stirred. But victory always tastes sharp. Foes cornered fight hardest. I could feel retaliation looming, hidden claws preparing. Every night, I checked locks twice, heart heavy with dread. Still, deep inside, a stubborn spark glowed. Whatever storm brewed, we'd face it. Because hypocrisy burns out. But courage? Courage lights forever. Weeks later, Labor Day returned. This time, chairs filled driveways, grills smoked freely, and laughter rose louder than fear. No clipboard cut the night short. Eldon, taller now, handed me a sparkler. "Together, Dad?" he asked. His grin held no fear this time, only trust. My chest swelled proud. We lit them, sparks dancing like small galaxies. Neighbors joined, sparklers multiplying. The night shimmered brighter than any fireworks show. Freedom burned sweet in golden light. Mal raised hers high, laughing, yelling, to hypocrisy's funeral. Everyone cheered. Karen's house stayed dark, windows shuttered, empire of rules crumbling in silence behind drawn curtains. Thackeray sold his home within months, unable to survive without control. Rumors whispered he moved somewhere far away, where no one knew his crumbling crown. The HOA collapsed, replaced by community meetings built on fairness, not fear. We argued sometimes, yes, but voices mattered. Control had shifted back where it belonged. Eldon whispered, "We won, didn't we?" I smiled, sparks reflecting in his eyes. We didn't just win. We lit something that can't be put out. Decades later, I still remember. I'm 45 now, retelling this story. But in my memory, that night never fades. It glows permanent, bright, unbreakable. Karen tried to ban my son from sparklers, but truth turned brighter. Hypocrisy lit up the night sky. And we never bowed to shadows again. Because sometimes, the smallest spark burns loudest. And sometimes, freedom arrives disguised as fire dancing in a child's hand, refusing to die. That night we remembered,